Okay, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon if you're on a different time zone. Glad to see you participating today. Unfortunately, Sabrina is sick today and is not going to be on the webcast. And I did not want to do foreclosures without her. But next week, we will do foreclosures, and we'll have a special treat too, because we're going to have Matt Kelly from Trustee Corps on with us, who's going to do a presentation about foreclosures and Trustee Corps, who we use to do our foreclosures in the 5 Western states that Trustee Corps operates in. So that'll be very informative, and I just don't want to get involved in a foreclosure discussion without, number one, having Sabrina on, because she definitely is our expert, and then we'll also have Matt next week give us some presentation about how they go about it and just foreclosures in general in trust deed states. So before we get started today, I would like to remind everybody that we are having a seminar in San Francisco on July 17th, 18th, and 19th, and we'd love to see you there. Please go to notemogul.com, notemogul.com, and all the information about the webcast is there. It is a very intense, very thorough seminar, and I know that you would benefit greatly by being there. It is education only. We do not sell anything. We offer no coaching programs that we'll try to sign you up on or anything like that, or any more advanced training. Everything that we do and have will be made available to you at that seminar. So if you have any thoughts about getting into the note business, or if you are a note pro, believe me, there'll be something for everybody to learn. I learn at every one of these seminars. I learn from the participants that are there. So it's a great networking opportunity also. Now, over the course of the last couple of weeks, we've gotten a lot of people that have sent in recommendations and topics that they want to see. And since Sabrina is not available today, I thought I'd take one of those topics. I don't want to waste a Tuesday with not doing anything. And I thought I'd take one of those topics and discuss the use of a financial calculator today. This business, I don't see how you can do it and do it successfully unless you know how to use a financial calculator. There are just certain things that have to be done that you have to know and know how to do fairly quickly in order to make quick decisions. So we're going to spend the time this morning going through the financial calculator and just going through some basic understanding of how it operates and why you need to know it. And then at the seminar, we spend a great deal of time on the calculator just to show you all of the things that you can do with notes that you can't do with just a piece of real estate. And once you learn these, you'll understand why note investing is so powerful. So let's get started, and we're going to just cover some basic things today. I recommend the use of a Hewlett-Packard 10B2. That's 10B2, and the 10B2 can be purchased at any Staples or Office Max, basically any office supply store, and it's about $39 or $40. However, as far as I'm concerned, the best thing to do is to buy an app for your cell phone, your smartphone, And I would recommend that you buy it from One Day Development. Now, I don't get any compensation at all from One Day Development, but this calculator, the 10B2 on their app is phenomenal. And we go over that extensively at the seminar too, and some of it we can't show you on this presentation because it's not available on this particular application on my computer here. But I can show you some of the things that we're going to calculate. So let's first we put together a tape, a 50 note tape that was reperforming seconds, and we put them out a week ago Thursday, and they were gone by the next Tuesday afternoon. So I want to show you the mathematics or the calculations that are involved if you were looking at a tape or if you were thinking of buying a one-off. It doesn't matter if it's a first or a second. The calculator is an invaluable tool. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to verify the information that the seller of that note has given us. So we're going to make a couple of assumptions here. Let's assume that this original note here was a note for $100,000, and it had a 5.5% interest rate that we see when we look at the note. It was for 30 years or 360 months, and we want to verify what the payment was on that original note. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a calculation here. We're going to take the face value of the note, $100,000, and that goes into the present value area in the middle of your top row. Now, what we're going to do for notes only requires the use of the N, which is number of months, the interest rate per year, the present value, the payment, and the future value. So what we're going to do, we're going to put our $100,000 into the present value. We also said that this was a 5.5% note. The interest rate per year is 5.5%. So we're going to enter that into this category here. The term of the note. Now, if you can read my screen, you can see that under the N, it says payments, or P/YR is payments per year. Now you can set this up for a quarterly payment per year, or a semi-annual payment per year, or a annual payment per year, whatever you want to set it up for. But it defaults, it goes back to 12 payments per year. So we have a 30-year note, which is 360 months. So at 12 payments per year, a 30-year note is 360 payments. So that's the information that we have right now. We also know that this is going to be a fully amortized note. The fully amortized note then would have a future value of 0. So now we have 4 of the categories at the top filled in. We have the number of months the payment was to run. We have the interest rate of 5.5%. We have the face value of the note, $100,000. And we have a future value of 0 because this is a fully amortized note. We want to solve for the payment. So if you know 4 of these, you can solve for the 5th. So all you do is you click on payment, and you can see the original payment was $567.79. Now, the nice thing that you can get now is we can print, or we can look at an amortization schedule on this calculator. So we know that $567.79 a month payment is being made. That it's going to be made for 360 months to pay it off at 5.5% interest. Let's take a look at the amortization schedule that you can come up with this. If you click on the orange bar right above the C, and you then go up and click on amortization here, the orange AMORT, we're going to get an amortization schedule. So I clicked on the orange bar, it brought this up, so it highlights all the orange topics here, and I'm going to click on amortization, and now you see an amortization schedule. The amortization schedule shows you the balance each month that a payment was made. So in this case, on the first payment here, June 26th, if this note was written today, the first payment would be on June 26th. You can manipulate on May 26, 2020. It is now May 26, it is now 2 years later. It's May 26, 2022. The balance is still $92,460.47, but we have arrears of $36,240.56 that that they also have to pay. So in reality, they owe us about $105,000, approximately $106,000. So we're now going to buy this note. So the first thing we wanted to do was make sure that the seller was giving us the proper amount of payment, $567.79. And according to our amortization schedule, that is correct. And we know that at the time we're buying it, the balance of the note is $92,460.47. Let's further assume that this is a second, and that we want to determine how much we want to pay for this note. And unfortunately, if you haven't been involved in seconds yet, or you haven't been involved with them long, you haven't developed a history. As we've stated before, we price all of our seconds based upon what we think we can collect on them. And so we're going to make some assumptions here, and let's just say that we think that we can collect $3,000 of the $13,624.56 that they owe us in arrears, and that we might be able to get a $300 a month payment on this for whatever time it takes. And then once we get it seasoned, and we're going to sell it, and we say, well, it looks to us like we should be able to collect somewhere maybe around $30,000 on this note. And based upon the profit that we want, we're going to pay, let's say, $12,000. So we're going to come up with a payment with what we're going to pay for this note of $12,000. Too many people get caught up in a percentage of the balance, the unpaid principal balance, in this case $92,460, and they'll, I paid 12 cents, or I paid 15 cents, or I paid 20 cents. What, that doesn't really matter. What matters is, what are you going to collect on it? And if the note looks like it is an attractive note that you're going to collect some money on, certainly you'll pay more than if it looks like a note that is going to take you a long time to collect or whatever. So keep in mind, you want to know how much what do you think you're going to collect, and then determine the price that you want to pay based upon what kind of percentage of profit do you want to make. Do you want to make 100%? Do you want to make 200%? And you calculate your price that way. We had done a spreadsheet at one time in these live seminars. If you want that spreadsheet, email me. I'll send it to you. All right. Now, we are buying a note with an unpaid principal balance of $92,460, and we have arrears of $13,624. We're going to discount those arrears. We're not going to calculate anything about those until after we start working out the note and we have it worked out. So let's assume that we did buy this note, and we bought it at 300 months into the note. There's 300 months left at this time, and the payment is $567.79. So let's assume that we go to the homeowner, we get an agreeable homeowner that we say, look, if you give us $3,000 of those arrearages, we will cut your payment to $350 a month, and we'll reduce your interest payment to 4%. All right, so we now need to do some other calculations. We just told them that we would calculate $350 a month payments. Hold on, let me get my screen ready here. All right, we got $350 in payments. And what we want to determine now is, we want to see we're going to reduce, we said we would reduce the interest rate to 4%. And we are going to fully amortize this loan. So again, we have a 0 future value. And we want to figure out how long will it take us? How many months will it take to pay off $92,460.47? So we're going to put 92,460.47 into our present value. And we're going to solve for a number of months. So at 4%, $350 a month, it's going to take us 190 months to pay that off. Okay, so we go to the homeowner and we say, hey, look, Mr. Homeowner, if you give us $3,000 of the arrears and you pay us $350 a month at 4%, and you pay those on time for 24 months, we'll wipe out the additional $9,000 you owe us in arrears. Now, homeowner agrees to that. The homeowner says, oh, that sounds good to me. Thanks for reducing my interest rate. I'm going to pay this off a lot sooner. Thanks for getting rid of that arrearages. I'm going to pay you for 190 months. It says a 189.79. We'll round that up to 190. I'm going to pay you $350 a month for 190 months. And we know, and I'm sure you know, most of you that are on this have been real estate investors at some time. You know that the average mortgage runs 5, 7, 10 years, something like that. Unusual for them to run 15 or 20 years. In this case, it's just like 17 years. It's going to pay off before that. So we paid, keep in mind that we said we paid $12,000 for this note. If we paid $12,000 for this and we get $350 a month, let's do a calculation here. Let's clear these and let's just say we get $350 a month times 12 months. We get $4,200 per year. And we paid $12,000, but we got $3,000 of the arrearages paid to us. Means that we have $9,000 in the note. Everybody follow that? We have $9,000 that we actually have in this note. I also have a little calculator that you can use on your screen to put these numbers in. It automatically tells you what your return is. But here's the important part. We have $4,200 per year. We paid $9,000 out of pocket. We have $9,000 out of pocket. So we're going to divide 4,200 by 9,000. We have a 47% annualized return on investment. And we have that for 190 months. Isn't life sweet? What other investment can you find that will do this? Now, let's say that the unlikely scenario is that half of your notes fail. I mean, fail to zero. If only half of your notes return 47% annualized, you have a return of 23.5%. That's the power of these notes, and that's the power of the calculator for you to determine what you're going to do with it. Let's go one step farther here. Let's say that we collect this payment for 12 months. So during that period of time, during 12 months, we collect 12 months times 350, 4,200. We collect 3,000 in arrears for a total of $7,200. Remember, we paid $9,000 or $12,000 for this. We go to the open market now with a seasoned note, and we're going to sell this note after it performs for us for 12 months. So we know that the payment is going to be $350 per month. We know that I'm going to round this up to 190 now so that it's a better looking number. And let's say that our investor, and we can prove this just by last week, that our investor expects 15% for a season note. And we're going to put that at interest rate per year. So now we want to make this offer to our investors. $350 a month coming in for 190 months. How much would you pay for that if you were going to get a 15% yield? So we're going to solve for present value. You would pay $25,356.97. We have collected, let's just put that in, $25,356.97 plus 7,200. We've collected 12 months of payments plus $3,000 in arrears. We've collected $32,556.97. $32,556.97. If we paid $12,000 for it, subtract that out. Whoops. $20,556.97 is our profit. If we divide that by $12,000, which is what we paid, we have a 171% return on investment. And let's say that we had this for 18 months. So here's the percent that we have, 171.31. Let's say that it took us 6 months to get this worked out. So we had it for 6 months. We started getting payments and got our $3,000. And then it took another 12 months for us to get it seasoned. So we've had this totally for 18 months. If we divide this 171 by 18, we get a 9.52% per month times 12 gives us 114.21% annualized return. And we've made it possible for a homeowner to stay in their home. They have a payment that is much more reasonable than what they would have had from the bank. We've actually cut the price of their payment by $220 a month, and their interest rate was cut to 4%. So if you can communicate with the homeowner, you can offer them a very attractive proposition. And then once you season it, You can sell these to investors that are looking for high yields today but can't find them. I don't know where else you go to get a 15% yield for 190 months. That returns you about, what did we say? 47% annualized return. Not bad. Let's go one step further, and then we'll call it a day. We went to the homeowner and offered them, right now we have a note that is performing at this level that is valued at $32,556.97. That's what we could sell it for. Everybody followed that. This 25 was if after we subtracted our $12,000. Let's say that your astute servicer, your asset manager that's managing this account for you, realizes that some things have changed in the homeowner's financial situation. The workout specialist discovers that the reason they went in default in the first place was because the husband lost his job and the wife's money was just not enough to make the payments. That situation has rectified itself. The husband is now employed, and they have made they paid $3,000, and they have also paid $3,000 in cash. So your astute servicer and asset manager goes to the homeowner and says, "Hi, Mrs. Homeowner. Thank you. You have done a wonderful job of reestablishing yourself and keeping your home. You're to be congratulated. We've noticed that there could be an opportunity for you here to save a bunch of money. Right now, you're paying $350 a month. We know now that your husband is back to work. You seem to be in good financial condition. If you could raise that to $450 a month, if you could do that, we would be willing to reduce your interest rate to 2%. Oh my gosh, the homeowner says, this is unbelievable. 2%. I would save a fortune. So let's see what it does for you, the note investor. So let's increase that payment to $450. Let's make we're going to do $450. Whoops. 450 goes into payment. We're going to reduce the interest rate to 2 years. 2%. And the present value is still $92,000. It'd be a little less than this because they've made 12 payments on it, but so let's just call it $92,000. All right. It would be more than that. Wouldn't reduce that much, but to save time, we won't go back to the amortization schedule. We'll just say that $92,000. And by the way, if you own this note in your file, you should have an amortization that you can quickly go back to, or you should have T-value and it's stored in T-value so that you can go back and see what at any given time the principal payment or the amount still owed, the unpaid balance is. We're going to assume that $92,000 is probably closer to $92,400, but we're going to leave it at $92,000. So how long would it take for the homeowner now to pay this off? It's going to take 176 months. It was at 190. So they're saving, 300 times 3, 14 months. So now, what can you sell it for if we're gonna make this, round this one down to 176. And now we want to offer this note at 15%. Whoops. How much could we sell it for? 31,000. We got an error here somewhere. Let's see. We got $450 a month for. Here we go. 75,000, 76 months. So the homeowner has really reduced their amount they're going to pay over the course of this period. And now we're going to sell this for 15% return. We're going to sell it for $21,995. Plus we've taken $450 a month for 6 months as 27, and we've taken 350, another 7,000. We got 9,700. 20. Let's change this. Plus the 21,995 plus 97. 31,695 minus 12. Whoa, that's not right. Okay, we got 30. Oops. 12. $60 additional. So by giving the homeowner a discount, we actually are going to collect more money because of the time value of money. The investor, $450 a month for only 76 months is worth a lot more than the $350 a month payment for 170 months. It's just, as farther your payment goes out, the less each dollar is worth. And by using this calculator, you can easily determine how quickly you can save the homeowner money if the homeowner can increase the payment. And we're still not back to the payment that they were supposed to be making with the original note. So there's still $120 less than what the original note was. And they're paying it off in a very short period of time. And you've increased the value to the note investor that's going to buy it from you, or you've increased your cash flow. $450 a month times 12 versus the $350 a month times 12. So pretty exciting stuff that you can do if you know how to use a calculator. And we covered this very, very thoroughly at the workshop, and we would like to see you there. Please join us next week when we will get into foreclosures again, and we will have Matt Kelly from Trustee Corps on with us to discuss foreclosures in trust deed states. Thank you very much for joining us, and see you next week.